Welcome to episode 102 of the Inside Bite. 102, that's pretty awesome.
It's crazy, man. Crazy
so,
stuff.
I'm your host Tim Schaefer. I'm here with my co-host Rudy. How you doing this week?
I'm great, man. Like you said, it is kind of crazy to think now we're in the hundreds, and one day we'll be in the 200.
Yeah, yeah.
um, I'm doing great, man. I got a few days left of school. Then you guys won't have to hear me talking about school for 2 months at least.
Is
Just trucking along.
summer tutoring a thing you do?
Yeah, I'll do some tutoring in the summer, and
Okay.
also I take my cash, like my big check that I get at the end of the school year, and I'll kind of like space it apart throughout the summer. So
Okay.
tutoring will be like, video game money, let's say. The
Yeah,
rest will be,
gotcha.
bills and things like that. So yeah, I'm
Okay.
excited, man. Looking forward to it.
Sweet. I you brought me this topic. It was like 2 or 3 days ago,
Hmm.
and I was like, "What made him think about this?" Now I
I
know
can tell you
why.
exactly.
Now I
Yeah.
know why. It's because I watched it literally last night. Black Mirror, and I'm
Black Mirror.
like, "Oh, well, there it is."
Yeah, it got me thinking about it. Well, I should say, so the topic that I told Tim this week was deep fakes, and more specifically, because this is a conversation I had before I even watched the Black Mirror episode, is like the morality of what you can do with deep fakes. Is it okay? Should it be illegal, illegal, and so on? So I'll explain, right? So basically there's this technology now that's becoming more prominent. It's called deepfake, right? Where you can basically take audio or video. So basically they can make Tim and myself have a conversation saying we hate the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which would never happen, but they can do it now.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can
yeah,
they can manipulate our voices. You can put Tim on the body of Bill Gates and it looks so realistic that you wouldn't even be able to tell. It's like crazy stuff. So basically I was the reason why I wanted to bring this up because I was wondering what people thought in terms of, so it's not, this is not an illegal thing at this point, by the way. You can make anyone say anything as long as you know how to do it. However, the reason why I bring this up is because the problem that's been arising is there's been like celebrities who are now being deep faked into like these sexually explicit videos, right? Like pornography and stuff like that,
yeah.
right? So obviously the girls who are being affected by this are very upset about this. Like, I don't want, you know, the point where someone can't even tell, I don't want it to appear that I'm in this video, which I'm not really even consented to at all. But then some people might argue back and say, well, this is not real. It's all freedom of speech, right? It's protected under the First Amendment. So this is like a back and forth. I was having a discussion with a friend and I was explaining to her, like, I don't think this is okay, but I understand why they can't just turn around and make this illegal yet, just because it's a slippery slope, I guess you could say, right? Because
Well,
who's to say
there's
if this
two
is
things
illegal?
I could say against your
Oh,
statement right now, and I don't
a hundred
know if
easily, I'm
it's
sure.
um,
Well, let me just
defeatable
say this
or
last
not. But well,
right. Let me
keep
just say
going,
this
keep going.
last point, and then I want to hear what you think. So, what I what the argument against making this illegal first, the thing that most people say is stuff like, well, if you make putting this person in a video, as a deep fake illegal, uh, where does it end? Can you then not do the silly videos of Joe Rogan talking to someone else on his show about Barbie dolls? I guess they're saying like everyone's got a different opinion on what's okay and what's not, and therefore making a law would be a very difficult thing to enforce. So anyway, what do you think?
Okay, so the legalness of this is you can't actually do what you're saying you can do. You can't make a deep fake very real, pretend you're the person of the deep fake, and releasing it and it being okay. There are laws against. There has to be some sort of like either parody or you stating that it's not representation of the real person. So
Well,
think
hold on,
back on
but they
like
they do that. They do that though. It is
no,
clear that
I
it's not
know
the
they
real
do that,
person,
but
but still.
that's not they're in the show, they're not applying that law just because it works better for the episode. But in reality, I don't think you can actually do that. If you watch
Well,
a South Park episode, it says these are fictional, even if they say the name, even if they portray them exactly how they are, even if they use their photo on the episode, they just have to stay at the beginning of the episode. This isn't who this is. So somewhere in
all right,
them watching the material, they have to be
right.
aware that it's not the actual person, or they have to be parodying the person.
Yes. So let me just interject for a sec. So maybe I forgot, I didn't mention it, but these websites that I'm speaking of, only because I've dove real deep into this, no pun intended, um, they do say, for example, deep fake, whoever, J Lo, whatever, right? It
Yeah.
says that it's not real. However, the people are still not wanting this to be happening, even
Yes,
even
that is
though
true.
it's
Yes,
right.
yes, yes,
So that's
yes.
where I'm wondering, if I was the person
I'm
being
just
affected by this,
making the
clearly I would not be
statement that
happy.
people have to be aware of the fact.
Yes,
That's
yes,
all.
yes. But then
That's
let's
all.
think about the way that people behave on the internet too, right? Many
Right.
people would not even read anything; they just
Oh,
dive in,
for
and even
sure. It's still
even
gonna
if
hurt
they
their
do know,
image. Yes,
right?
yes,
Even if they
yes.
do know, it still brings to the question, like,
They start to question, hey, how real is this? How exaggerated is
sure,
this? And even if they're told that it's not the actual person, maybe all these facts still are, though, right? That was the whole point of
sure,
when you're watching that episode. It's like, okay, I know that's actually not you because we can see it's a different actress, but they're clearly doing the same things you're doing. So even if they're making a deep fake, right, and you're making it look like the person, and you tell them that it's not the person, you just make it
hmm,
look like them,
right,
nothing's stopping you from doing the rest of your shenanigans. Yeah.
sure, of course, and the Black Mirror episode just got me thinking about it, but really, it's a slightly different thing because it's not portraying like real life events or anything like that, but just the image of it, right? I've seen people even say like these artists that can draw extremely detailed, lifelike, realistic pictures with like a pencil and a paper, right? You know what I mean, right? You've seen those people do that. They even say, you know, would there be some sort of issue with this person who can draw a lifelike figure with a pencil and a paper drawing, you in some sort of way that is unflattering to you? It's just an interesting thing to think about, at what point people would think this shouldn't be okay or not. I think like the free speech absolutists would say there should be no barrier at all, right? That's what I would assume that's what the argument would be.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the people being affected by this would probably feel strongly the opposite way. So the main point I'm trying to get at with this, and truly myself, I don't even have like a definitive answer on how I feel about it. I don't feel it's a right thing to do at all. I don't know if it's something that can be a law. Maybe it will be, but I guess I'm just thinking of the way the technology has advanced. Even artists, what they can do with things that are not real. Um, at what point is this going to become something where it becomes a legal thing or not, or will it ever? And will these people just be dealing with this forever? I have no idea, but
What is your opinion? I mean, what would you
I
do? Do
guess,
you want it illegal? Do you want it legal?
oh man, this is such a tough question to me. I, well, I guess I should say, man, I don't know, truly. I don't think it's right. I think it's messed up. I don't think it's okay. But should it be illegal? Maybe specifically in the case of, like sexually explicit things. Maybe something like that. Um, but then again, people would be like, well, where does it stop then, right? But that's probably what I would say at this moment. I don't know. How about you? What do you
Yeah.
think?
I guess I'm always on the fence of like the less laws, the better.
Right, right.
So even though this makes a lot more sense than other things that aren't
Then other
laws
things,
and all
yeah,
of that, you
yeah.
know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
guess I'm still just gonna say no because I don't
Sure,
know. I'm very much on the side of letting the government have as little control as possible. We still
sure,
need it, but I don't want to give them more powers. Is where I'm like, then it starts to be like, well, okay, well, what could they exactly use it for themselves, or does
sure,
it
sure.
benefit them in one way? What would it benefit the government to shut it down or to leave it open? I don't even know because
Um,
it could benefit
I
them in either way depending on what they're trying to get done. So it's
sure. I don't think it's so clear cut with this one. Yeah, I don't know, but
and now people, you could just be like, well, what's the benefit? What's the benefit of a person doing this to somebody other than comedy reasons? And maybe with people's lives in jeopardy just for the sake of comedy. Is that where we're like, okay, well, then we
um,
should make it law because of that? Or is there other things that we could use this for in a more positive manner? I mean,
I'm sure there are some ways you can use it positively, but what do the people gain from it? I'm sure they gain sales from it, right? They probably sell these things online, I would assume. you know, buy this thing. I mean, I know for sure that they sell videos like this and things like that
Well,
that
I
they
meant for
create.
the sake of humanity. Like, what do we gain
Oh, I
as a
see.
human race from this? Not obtaining money.
I
Like,
see.
what is a productive measure in doing a deep fake?
Um, wow. Well, man, that's a hard
That's what
question. I can
has
feel like
me
I,
start thinking of if something should be illegal or not. It's like, okay, well, first, is it okay to even do? Like, what positives could we could draw from this?
honestly, I can't really think of what the positives are for this.
Other than
I,
comedy, right? I mean, other
right,
than
right.
comedy,
Other than that,
I don't know.
purely entertainment purposes, I guess.
Yeah.
But
So
then
is
again, and
entertainment value worth it?
I mean, then again, people really value their entertainment, you know. So,
Yeah. I mean, it is important. So it's just I don't know. Important
yep,
questions
yep.
to think of. So, but I guess I'm still just gonna say, hey, keep it wild wild
How things
west
are.
there, and
Yeah.
as long as you tell people that it's fake, even if you what you're drawing from looks incredibly close to the real
Right,
deal,
right.
or even looks exactly like the same as the real deal. I guess they just need to be even more prominent on displaying that it's not the person. Once that gets
Yeah,
too gray and they try to like lie and slip their way through and not really be so bold as to telling the people and trying to slip it in as real, even though they know it's fake and all of that, that's where all the legalities I say would come in, right? You just have to
sure,
make
sure.
sure that you keep it where it's incredibly obvious it's not the person, and you can keep it legal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. As long as you know, as long as it's apparent. Now, if someone doesn't read it, that's on them. But as long as you've done, you know,
Yeah, but
your
you can't
part.
make it super
Your...
tiny in the corner.
Oh,
Like
right, exactly. Yeah,
you
yeah.
do have to, by law, make it very visible to see and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
be obvious. Anyway,
Yeah, just something I had thought about recently because the person I was talking with about this was very adamant, like didn't want to even hear any sort of argument at all as to why you shouldn't maybe make this legal. Like, I feel that sometimes people don't really take a second to put aside how they feel about it and just think about, like, okay,
yeah,
how could
yeah.
this affect people if we did make something like this
Let's
illegal? You know,
ask some general groundwork questions and work from there. Yeah,
exactly, exactly, like we just did, kind of, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, just the interesting thing I wanted to bring up, but yeah,
Okay.
I got to keep watching that show.
But yeah, the show on its own, like, uh, friends were over, and I was like, "Oh, Black Mirror, new episodes. Y'all want to watch it?" And they're like, "We actually haven't seen it." I was like, "Wait, period?" They're like, "Yeah." So they haven't seen a single episode. I was like, "Whoa, okay.
Oh
Where do
wow.
we start?"
Oh man.
And what I'm gonna do is just like they were like doing the whole. Actually, we gotta bounce. Well, I'm like, okay. Well,
Oh
next time you're
no.
over, I'm picking an episode. And I think what I'm gonna do is I think of the social episode where you get the social ranks. I think
Oh,
that's
that's a good one.
one
Or
that
the
could get people. I want to mess with their head as much as I can.
another one that I think is good to introduce people and really mess with them is in the first season, the third episode. It's called The Entire History of You. It's like where everyone has the
Oh,
eye implants.
yep.
That's another good one to pull people
Okay,
in, I think.
I think so too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. Moving on to some gaming news.
Let's get
Finally,
to it.
there actually wasn't a lot. I felt I was like pulling for thin hairs here, but I think it's because we are just so slammed with a lot of big stuff. And Final Fantasy 16, I mean, what? That's in like 3 days. Like the
Can't believe it,
22nd,
honestly.
Thursday? Wow.
It's been what, like 7 years since the last one
Wow.
came out?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I think, like when Zelda was coming out, it was like there's hardly anything to talk about or any games coming out around then. I think Final Fantasy's having that same kind of power here.
I
So
agree. Very excited.
anyway, but the first bit here, Citizen Sleeper 2, Star Wars Vector got announced. Trailer looks cool. I don't know. Looks a lot like the first one, but it's really just one little scene playing out. We don't get to actually see too much of the game. But it's more of just saying like, hey, we're here, we're getting developed, we're gonna come out. There's no date on it or anything.
All
I
right.
have yet to play it, and I still want to play it. So that's one of those games like permanent in my backlog of like I have to get to this.
Sure. No, I've
Anyway,
heard people talk about that frequently, so maybe one day you'll get to it.
right?
um, then we got Vampire Survivors 1.5 update now available. Um, I actually didn't see this trailer yet. I dropped off of Vampire Survivors a bit, not because I was ever bored, just because other games. But I love that they're still supporting this game, adding more. I mean, wow, I see that they're adding a ton of different things here. I'm watching the trailer.
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
just kind of too much to sit there and list it all, but it's just new weapons, new characters,
Mm-hmm.
new maps, just literally just more of the game.
Yep, more Vampire
Yeah.
Survivors.
Hi-Fi Rush is getting a free update July 5th, and it adds like 2 different arcade modes. Looks really, really sick. One is almost just like waves of enemies, but you start at like no skill points whatsoever, and as you're fighting through, you'll gain skill points rapidly, and then kind of like seeing how far you can get after
Mm,
the waves of enemies. So it's like roguelike slash waves of enemies kind of deal going on. And then
gotcha.
the other mode is just actually it's not even another mode. They just added a whole ton of just I don't know, cosmetic stuff. So it's just shirts, skins, accessories, yada 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 yada. So
Gotcha.
there's that.
Okay, very cool. All right.
Yep.
Another little update. Game Boy Advance's Fire Emblem dropping June 23rd. Classic game, man. Still remember playing that back in the day.
Yeah, I played Fire Emblem like Sacred Stones on GBA, but I never
Yeah.
played the one that it's the label just says Fire Emblem, and there's no actual like name attached to it or anything. Um, it I think it's a technically remake of one of the older Fire Emblems is what I think it technically is. But I don't know. I put this in because I'm excited for this. I actually been playing a lot of Game Boy Advance on Switch. Like it's me playing Zelda, and then it's like I don't know. Get a little tired. I switch over to some Game Boy Advance, and I've been working through a lot of the ones on there. And Fire Emblem is definitely gonna become a part of that Game Boy Advance shuffle when I'm playing on my Switch. So I'm just
Sure.
excited about that.
No, it's very cool.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next? Rockstar Games co-founder Dan Houser reveals new studio, Absurd Ventures. The studio is focused on building narrative worlds, creating characters, and writing stories for a diverse variety of genres without regard to medium, to be produced for live action and animation, video games and other interactive content, books, graphic novels, and scripted podcasts. Well, clearly we know that guy has some talent, so whatever he does, I'm sure will, be something to look out for. So
Yeah. Looks like it's somehow in the same vein of GTA in the sense of just trying to do without regard to medium.
sure, yep,
Um,
yep,
but it looks like he's just trying to do a whole lot at once. He's like, I'm getting older. Let me just try to
try to do a
achieve a
bunch of this stuff.
lot of these like live action, doing an animation, graphic novel, scripted podcasts. Look like these books. So he's just trying to dive in a bunch of whole other mediums, which
Sure,
and trying to be extreme in those mediums, I guess you could say. So I guess that's cool to see what he ends up like doing.
of course, it'll be something to look out for.
And this last bit, Hideo Kojima isn't directing the Death Stranding movie. Last December, Deadline reported that a Death Stranding movie was in the works. Kojima Productions, the studio that made the original game, was set to be one of the main 2 producers, but there was no word on who would write, direct, or star in the film, or if any members of the original creative team would occupy any of those roles. Yesterday, Death Stranding's game director Hideo Kojima took to Twitter to clarify his involvement. Just to be clear, I'm deeply involved in producing, supervising, plotting, look, design, and content of the film adaptation of Death Stranding, just not in charge of directing. So he clearly has a full grasp of the entire project and is doing everything outside of being the main director behind the camera on this should be in this angle, this should be shot from up here, this should be, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like Kojima's doing all of the rest of the work. So,
Well, that's good. The more work he does, the better.
so if anyone was worried about the fact that he's not directing means that he's not involved, don't think that, basically.
Yeah, no, I think knowing him, he would never be involved in any project where he can't at least come on, put his influence in there somewhere.
Yeah. The film is totally still his complete and original creative idea. So, like, it's all good. I never really thought about it because we see so many announcements of this, of like a movie coming from some IP, but one, we just never see it, and if we do, it just sucks most of the time. So actually getting more detail here makes me be like, oh, maybe this actually will happen. And if this does happen, I mean, Death Stranding would be perfect film. I feel something to make into film. I think it would be. I think a lot of people would really love it. It'd be really like touching and very epic cinematic piece. I feel with the characters and what all happens if you cram that into like 2 or 3 hours. I think that could be quite an epic piece. So I'm looking forward to it, honestly.
No, same.
Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome. I'm kind of surprised that it's been this long since we've even gotten. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't done this yet. There hasn't been a
Yeah.
feature film with
Well,
Hideo Kojima.
I think it's because of Konami. I really do.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's
Now
only
that
been
he's
recently
finally free and running his own shebang, like now he gets to finally do all these things he was shackled from before. So I think it speaks as of now that he's doing it, that he probably always wanted to do it. So anyway.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Let's get into what we're watching, what we're playing. I see we're running it short here today, but again, Final Fantasy coming out just somehow made nothing else want to happen.
Seriously. Well, I guess let's touch on that first.
Yeah,
or you know what? Sorry, let me knock out the other one because the other ones are short.
All right.
Street Fighter 6, still playing a lot. I picked up the arcade stick like a week or two ago. And I've gotten really used to it now. I didn't really understand this at first, but hopefully it'll make sense. But basically, when I bought the arcade stick at first, it was a square gate around the joystick, right? So, Street Fighter, you do a lot of down, forward, down, quarter circles and things like that. So doing like a quarter circle on a square, I mean, just think about it. You're in the middle bottom of a square and you're trying to work your way to the right and then go to the middle right of the square, right? Which, yeah, you can do it.
It's not a smooth transition.
It's not a smooth transition at all. It was really giving me a hard time. I'm playing against my friends and they're beating beats like a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I'd win a match here and there.
And you're like, the damn squares.
I'm like, guys, I promise you I'm better than this. They're like, no, you're doing pretty good. You just got to get because basically my character is super strong and I was missing my ultra. Like there are plenty of opportunities where I can do my ultra move, which would do like half of your bar. I could never pull it off. I'd always do like down, forward, and I'll jump, instead of doing it. So
first of all, that was what I was saying last time we were talking about this. I have an incredibly difficult time, even with a normal joystick, doing that. So
even with the normal one, yeah. So for me personally, I'm usually fine with it, but that was giving me a hard time. So I went online and I bought the octagonal gate, and it was real simple. You just unscrew it, pop it in, take out the other one. And then I started playing with that, and man, one match later, I go online and I'm like doing way better. I'm pulling off my ultra moves and everything. So ever since then, I've been loving it way more. Like now that I'm actually able to win. But the game
you can hit a whole
man.
Direct 45-degree angle now.
You can. It has a click for each and every spot. Down, in the middle, forward, right? It's like it clicks for each one, so it's perfect. Makes it so much easier to use and do. But I think it's awesome that I've been playing with this arcade stick. Like, man, all these years I never tried it out, and now I love it. I have the 8-bit do one, and it's got like the Nintendo colors and everything. It's really cool. So yeah, I've been loving that. Street Fighter still great. Still play here and there with some friends or online. Zelda still trucking along. I had been investigating one of the 4 like whatever they called it, like disturbances or whatever.
Yeah.
And I went to the Zora's Domain one first, and I was starting to find that like I would do the mission and they'd say, here's the next part of the mission. And sometimes I'll be like, I don't even know where to go. They just say, you need to find this thing. And I have no clue where to go sometimes. But yeah, I did find like I had to find this piece. I found it, I put it in. Now they're saying go talk to the excuse me, the king or the general, whatever his name is, the main guy, the king, I believe. So I'm there now. And in between, I've still been obviously doing shrines, pulling out, unlocking towers, things like that. I feel like I haven't explored the sky that much. Only when I do a tower, I'll drop on an island or something occasionally. I found this one island that had this big, huge block dude, like he's made of a bunch of blocks. And I heard him a little bit, and he dropped a map, like an old map that has an X on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Which I have no clue what that even brings me to. I didn't see a map. I didn't see an X on my map, and I
No,
couldn't
look.
open the map. I tried to click on the map. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but it didn't
No,
open
so
for me.
you haven't went to the depth yet, have you?
I have not, but I
Well,
guess
there's
that's
your
where I gotta
answer.
go next. Okay. So yeah, I'm still enjoying Zelda,
Oh,
still
sorry.
trucking
I'll go
along.
ahead and specify. Once you're in the depths, look at your map, and it'll mark on the map for you.
It'll
But
mark
you
it.
have to
Okay.
be in the depths to see the mark.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm wanting to finish that first complete storyline so I can have like, some story done and then go back to doing what I was doing before
I
and then
really
explore the
urge you
depths.
to. The issue that you're having, and I hate this because this game is supposed to be like go anywhere in any direction, but there
Sure.
is a little bit of a golden path, and
Gotcha.
you didn't do it. Yeah,
Of
it was
course.
way better to go to the sky one first, the Rito
Sky one.
stuff, all of the birds and all that. Up
Oh,
in
I
the
see.
snow, you go in that direction, you get so many quest even along the way that if you complete
Ah,
lead into really big things that are pivotal for the game. Like, so when you
right.
go, I'll say one thing is horse stables. I don't want to give too many away, but the horse stables are really, really important because that's where the guy does the runs the newspaper stuff. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
newspaper bird guy. Well, you need to go up to that, go into the Rito, do that sort of stuff to even be able to become a journalist. And once you become a journalist, you're able to go to all these horse stables and do all of these really pivotal, I wouldn't call them main story quests, but they're definitely really important. More important than like a usual side quest. But you need to become a journalist to achieve those. And the only way you do that is if clearing out the Rito section first.
Okay. So maybe I'll have to go there next then,
Yeah.
since I already missed it the first
I
time.
would I would just suggest it. Now you don't have to, but again, I think it's totally worth it.
Gotcha. All right. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still enjoying it, still playing it. And finally, Final Fantasy 16 demo. So I played through the whole demo. I know that when you beat the demo, there's like the icon challenge or whatever. I didn't do that because I was like, okay, I've already played enough, and this progress will transfer over to the real game. So
Yeah.
that's fine with me. So my thoughts on the demo are I'm really into it. Like I played the first hour or so, and all throughout I kept using the active time lore thing to tell me about, what characters are on screen, which I
Yeah.
think is a highly underrated feature in video games, especially video games with many characters. So I'd stop occasionally. Hey, who's Clive again? Who's Elwyn? Who's all these Joshua? All these people. And by the time I finished the demo, I felt pretty good about knowing who everyone was and what their positions were. The whole stuff with the different armies and continents and all that, yeah, it's a little foggy, but I got the gist of it. Anyway, I thought that I saw some people complaining about too much cutscenes, too much exposition in the beginning. Now, for me personally, I love that because you're teaching me about this world and these characters. I need to know. I don't want to just start fighting people and I don't even know what or who I am. So for me personally, I was fine with that. When you get to the first combat sequence, it's like a little training, but the first actual combat sequence I thought was really, really fun. It felt like I was like playing like a Bayonetta game or something. Like
Yeah.
it feels so cool. You're moving around, you're moving real fast. All of the abilities, by the way, that you can unlock with points as you play more, I felt all of them were super useful. I was using them in battle, and they didn't feel cheap or waste at all. They all felt super useful.
The skills were very big, like changes to your
Yeah,
combat, and I was
yeah,
like,
totally.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
So cool. I love that they included like the Zelda thing where you parry at the last second and you get a quick,
Yeah.
really fast hit. I thought that was awesome. The only thing that I won't say that I didn't like it, but it caught me off guard was when you get the times where it's like, hey, press this button and you'll do this crazy move that does a ton of damage on the enemy, and they give you like a huge
Yeah.
window of time.
Well, those are
You know,
those quick time events, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but there,
Yeah.
I guess I was surprised because I expected, okay, a quick time event, but it wasn't even like press it quick. It was like
You
tick,
had a lot of
tick,
time.
tick, tick. Yeah, yeah, you had like a
But
lot of time,
I mean, I prefer
but it
that
was cool. It was cool. No,
than
listen,
the
don't get me wrong.
alternative of it being
Right,
fast. I'd
right. Don't get me
rather
wrong. I
I'd
thought it
rather
was
it be
very
slow.
cool.
But why
I
have it at all? I guess is
yeah,
the yeah.
there's like no point to it, you know.
Yeah.
But I did think it was cool when it would happen. I love that they incorporated like the Final Fantasy VII remake, sort of staggering the enemy. It's a big
Yeah.
production. They get
Well,
knocked
that
down. Oh,
comes
you see,
from
I love
13.
that. Yes, yes, I do
Yes.
remember, but I think seven just made it even
Hmm.
better
I agree.
somehow.
I agree.
But I think it's cool how visually what's going on the screen when you stagger the enemy or you get a good hit on them. It's just so much cool stuff going on. It looks so good. The effects are awesome. Even the writing looks like it's like the perfect kind of font that you want when you're playing an action game like this.
I
Man, I'm just like
mean,
really impressed by
it's
it.
very pristine. It's very
Yeah, 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 yeah.
bougie. It's like you can tell they threw a
Yes.
ton of money at it. I mean,
Yeah, and
it is
that's
shiny. It is a shiny ass product.
that's a good point too. I can tell that Sony put money into this because sometimes you think of like Sony first party games like God of War, Last of Us, right? You see like they're really high production values. This to me looks like a higher production value Final
I
Fantasy than
think
some of
this
the
looks
past
like
ones.
the highest production values I
Yeah,
may have seen,
yeah,
period.
I agree. I agree. The
It's
game
kind of
looks
hard
great. It
to think
runs.
of one that would be, I don't know. I don't know. Can you think of a game that would be higher production? I don't think
I mean,
so.
no, it's got to be up there.
I
And
mean,
I was playing on performance mode, which
me
felt
too.
pretty good.
Yep,
Occasionally, there was like a little
it
stutter
would
here and
dip.
there, but
Yep.
then again, there's going to be a day one patch, so I'm not too concerned about that. Um, and I of course I would never spoil a Final Fantasy story, so I'll just say the second half, just like you said, man, does it
Yeah.
pick up?
Yeah.
Holy crap! I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm gonna play for like 20 minutes before I go to bed, and I'll finish the Last of the Devil tomorrow. And then I was like, sitting on my seat, like, what just happened? What the heck? Oh
Yeah.
man! So definitely
Yeah.
pulled me in. I'm definitely super excited for the real game to come out. The only concern I have is, man, now I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna want to ignore Final Fantasy, so I know I'm gonna be playing Final Fantasy and then play on my Switch Zelda, here and there. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen,
Yeah.
and I'll play Zelda after. But I can't ignore this. This story is too interesting to me already,
I
and the
can't
combat
believe
stuff.
we're days away.
I know, I
Oh,
know.
I just,
Do you think
yeah.
it? Do you think the game is gonna be? And I don't necessarily have a problem with this, by the way. Do you think it's gonna be like a very linear game? It feels that way more, but it's the
Okay. Okay.
prologue only, so I don't know.
I was going to comment on that. I'm glad you mentioned that because I almost forgot there. That was one
Mm-hmm.
of my major complaints about the game. Is like, it is very hallway
Oh
linear
yeah,
sort of deal going on here. Now, I'm hoping and assuming that it's just because it's the prologue.
the prologue, the demo
I
here.
can imagine it being bigger. Actually, I want to say they even said there were bigger zone areas in this game. It wasn't open world, but it was big zoned or something like that. So now I'm just remembering that statement. I forget exactly what it was, but that was definitely said about this game. So I guess I'm not worried, but that demo definitely made me worried. Like, holy crap, is it
Sure,
tight in here? But I mean, it makes for a good demo. Like, you just need to be able to show off the
definitely.
systems. You need to be able to move people along as fast as possible so you can just see, okay, here's how story works and here's how action works. If you like
Right,
the game, go
right.
buy. So I don't think they want to if you were in a big zone doing a demo, I don't think it would help much. Like
Yeah,
falling
I
short.
no, I agree. I
So
think
maybe that's the only reason is it needed to just start that way.
it's totally a demo slash, pre-release thing that they're giving us to, because then again, this story so far does seem to be a bit more complex than some of the past Final Fantasies, more going
Yes,
on.
you can
So
easily
they probably
tell.
really, yeah, they really want to set the stage and
Hmm.
kind of, give you the background on the characters. That active Time Lord thing is so underrated, man. I told you when I played Triangle Strategy, that was such a useful
Yep.
feature.
Yep.
And only thing I hate is it's like a few steps to get to it. I wish it was like a little more instant, like you could press a
Yeah.
button and immediately
Yep.
see it.
Yep.
But it is. I'd rather it be there than not at all. So
The combat, I mean, I must say, I mean, it's clearly the guy who did Devil May Cry. And you can
oh
tell
yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
there. It feels super solid. Every hit feels
Oh
very
yeah,
impactful. It's phenomenal. Like I love the combat in this game.
it does feel very good. I just had a moment while I was playing. I was like, wow, this is like really fun to control. It feels good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. I can't believe we're getting in a few days. Man, exciting times. So can't wait.
I mean,
Super stoked.
this year's insane. So I'm about to
It's nuts.
gush.
Too
I'm about
many
to
games.
gush.
I can't even keep up, man.
Now, Diablo 4, Rudy's favorite game.
Yes, yes,
I
yes. No, I
dude,
know people are loving it.
dude, it's like easily the best Diablo release. Not
That's
even
awesome.
close. I'm so blown away by it. I already have so much time into it. Got a level 20, got a level 18, got a level 10. I keep because I like, oh, I want to play with somebody. Well, let me just start with you. I don't have to, right? I could have kept playing my character, easily joined them. I just don't want to have all these cool skills and they have nothing. So I'm like, okay, I'll go down to your level and we can do it. And so I restarted twice with that in mind. But I don't care because I'm gonna have all of these different builds with all these different characters anyway. And I don't know, like Necromancer is. Oof, I've tried between three classes. Necromancer is the winner so far because so many as you're just killing enemies, right? Okay, there's a dead body there. I can hit a button to detonate the dead body and cause huge splash damage, right? Of explosion. So if I'm getting like a bunch of enemies coming in from all angles and we're in the center of the room and we have to destroy this whole wave of enemies coming in. Well, I'm the whole entire time I was just hitting the detonate button because one body kills the next body, kills the next body, because it's like a chain reaction of this domino effect. And it's like 120 die by these detonations. And I'm just like, oh my God, that was incredible. So it just feels super like god tier status if you know what you're doing. And the thing is like at any moment you screw up a few times, you're like dead. And it's like you're constantly
Yeah,
teetering life or death
yeah.
within seconds, trying to rack up a ton of kills so it can get really fun. But then you're gonna get greedy and then die pretty quick and be like, whoa. So I don't know. I've been playing couch co-op. Friends can
That's
coming
awesome.
over. He logs in his account. I play on my account. We can both make progress in our accounts, even if we're playing split screen on the one machine. He goes home and he continues progress, whatever, because it's all account tied. But so we're just playing couch co-op. The what was like 3 days straight of this now every night, just because we've been having so much fun. It's the perfect couch co-op game.
That's
And
awesome.
I don't know. I've just been having a blast, and I think it's incredible. I mean, it's like I don't want to sit here and try to. I guess my impressions is sitting at like a 9.5 is what I would say.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It seems like people are happy with it. People who've been waiting, or maybe were worried, like, oh, I don't know if it's gonna be good or whatever. I don't know. It seems like people
Well,
are
we
loving
were
it. That's
scared
great.
too about Activision being Activision and trying to bill you at every corner, making all this stuff feel like behind paywalls and none of the good stuff is playable and all that. And it doesn't feel like any of that. So,
Good.
yeah.
That's great. All right. Very cool.
Yep. Yep. All right.
Very cool.
Let's get into New Game Watch and we'll get out of here, I guess.
All right.
Dr. Fetus Mean Meat Machine. Gross. All
I
five. I
I
need to
played the
look this
demo of
up.
this.
What is this?
Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's a Super Meat Boy universe, but it's like a
Oh,
puzzle game
cool.
sort of. It's kind of cool, but yeah, I need to play a little more of it, I think.
I'm gonna look this up. Hold on. I have to see this.
Check it out.
Okay. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine? They're doing a play off of
It's
that.
like yeah.
And then Dr. Fetus's Meat Mean Machine. I just caught that. Anyway, but it's like that game. Okay, I have it. I used to play this all the time on Sega.
Yep.
But it's just a match 3, 4, 5, whatever. You just match like columns
Yeah, exactly.
sort of
I'm
game.
sure knowing those guys, they probably put some sort of clever spin on it. I'm
It
sure there
is
has to be
something
cool.
like, is it honestly, if it was on mobile, that'd be nice. That's the one time I'd be
Yeah,
asking
that
for
would be
mobile.
that's actually a good point. Yeah, that would be a nice place to put it.
Is it on mobile? It doesn't look like it, weirdly. I don't know, but that's the PlayStation announcement, so I don't know what other platforms actually on. Anyway, Duh. We literally were just reading it. Stupid. Okay, it
Oh
would say mobile on here if it was. Yeah, it's not.
yeah, it's
But it's
not.
all platforms. I guess Switch. I could play it on my Switch. Switch Lite. That'd be
Yep.
nice. Okay. Anyway, that ain't so bad. But Final Fantasy 16, June 22nd,
Can't wait.
PS5. Again, it's strictly PlayStation 5 exclusive. Final Fantasy. I mean, this is like Final Fantasy 12 PS2 sort of hype with me, but
Yep.
12
Yep.
kind of like I don't know. I'm in the middle road with that game. I think it's better than
Mm-hmm.
like 15 or something like that.
Sure.
But I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. But 10 was like the last time I was like Cloud 9 with Final Fantasy in general. So whenever 12 was coming out, I was incredibly hyped for a long time. That's what I'm trying to get at with this game. It feels like we just played 10 and we loved it. Here comes 16 and just that hype of like this looks incredible. Everything we're seeing on it looks like top notch. We got to play a demo that looks incredible. I mean, I think we're gonna have a winner again. Anyway.
I can't wait, man. I'm so excited. I love the protagonist already. I think he's a great character.
Oh, it
So
goes
yeah.
between three generations of people, is what it does in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
prologue. It's like,
That's true.
yeah, yeah.
Jump around quite a bit. So and that sequence, man, at the end with the icons was so cool. I was just like, this is awesome.
I mean, some of the best visuals I've ever
It
seen.
was yeah, amazing visuals.
Yeah.
My God.
Wow. Anyway.
So excited, man. Can't wait. So yeah, I think only thing I worry about, and I hope this isn't even something to worry about really, is I want to make sure I'm understanding all the nuances and all the ins and outs of the story. I don't want to miss anything, and I know there's a lot going on, these families, these royalty, all this stuff. I know that stuff can get a bit complicated at times. So just gonna try my best to make sure, really focus. Sometimes when you're watching a cutscene in a video game, even if you like it, you just miss something,
Well, what
maybe.
I keep thinking as you're saying all this is there's so many things that I watched where as it's happening I don't quite understand, but as I
Sure.
go and the further I get, it all will eventually start to make
Well,
sense. I'm
start
kind
stuff
of
like yeah,
hoping that that's what happens here.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I
and
don't want to
like,
focus too hard on like trying to. Now, I will go through and read stuff just because I want to, but I'm not going to try to memorize anything, let's say. And I really will just be trying to take it in as I go. And hopefully I can just understand it if I don't understand it at first, just because there's just a lot of like, there's politics heavily involved in this game. So just be prepared for knowing who this
yes,
person from where and all of that.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep. All
Harmony,
right.
The
Well,
Fall of
excited.
Reverie, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, June 22nd. Sonic Origins Plus, that's the ones where they added all of the Game Gear games. June 23rd. Destroy All Humans 2, Reprobed, a single player sort of. I don't get what's going on there. Anyway, Reprobed single player. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, June 27th. Store of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. Now, this I actually do care about. I used to play Wonderful Life GameCube because it was Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, and this is the remake to that because now Story of Seasons is Harvest Moon. So it's a weird thing, but this is a remake to that GameCube game, and they adding a lot more content on top of it. It's a beloved GameCube game of mine. I used to play it a ton,
Hmm.
so I'm interested in this. Then I might like play it on Switch. I can't play right now. Again, Final Fantasy, Diablo, Zelda. Like I'm full, very full right now. But otherwise, I'd be on this already. So, but anyway,
Gotcha.
okay. Well,
All right. Very cool. Well, I
yeah,
can't wait to talk about Final Fantasy, man. I'm excited.
I still didn't play that Life of P demo. I feel
Me
terrible
neither.
for doing it. I was like,
I
come
need to
on,
do it.
why aren't I doing it? I just need to. I guess it's just because I just keep seeing like, oh, it's just not as the thought, just knowing that it's not as good as From Software's Combat. Just like, yeah, I have to get over
Ah,
that
man.
fact because I just want to enjoy the world. But
Yeah. No,
it's
I got to try it out myself
yeah.
too. I kept seeing people saying, "Oh, Armored Core demo," and I thought it was a thing. I was like, "Oh my god, I want to try it out," but I have not found that, so I do not believe
There's
that's an
not an
actual
Armored
thing.
Core demo.
I did see that Sea of Stars has a demo out on Steam, is that the same demo that was on
Yes.
Switch, I wonder?
Yes.
Yeah, I
No,
assume
I
so.
played it on my Steam Deck actually.
Gotcha.
Um, unless I was streaming that, but I don't think so. No, I think I was playing straight off. Yeah, I was playing on Switch and Steam. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
It's beautiful either way, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
It actually looks exactly the same regardless of which one I put it on. I was like checking that out and making sure,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, no, it's the same. So anyway, I guess
Yeah,
technically it outputs 4K, but it's just so hard to notice on a graphic style like that.
it's a beautiful game, that's for sure, man.
Yes. The art direction is superb. All right, well, I guess let's get out of here, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, guys. Later.